Hello.
Hi.
Stop what you're doing.
Stop.
Special instructions for this week's beer. Please listen and observe Matt as he demonstrates how to pour it.
So this is a Nitro beer. So that means it's, well, I was going to say the word carbonated, but nitrogenated is the right word, using nitrogen instead of carbon dioxide. So you want to give it a gentle shake, just like that, before you open it. And then you want to pour it nice and vigorously. So you're used to pouring a beer nice and gently, but you want to give it that. Get all the foam in there.
Beautiful.
Because what happens is, this is like when you get order Guinness at the pub and they do that nice slow pour for you. So what you can see is that all those bubbles kind of cascading up there. And the reason for that is nitrogen forms a kind of a lighter, denser foam, so a lot smaller bubbles than you get with CO2. It takes a bit more energy to get them out of the beer and into the head, but for that it gives you a nice kind of creamy body as opposed to like the kind of sparkly, crispy carbonation that you get in most beers. So pour it like that.
Well, he's Matt.
And he's Luke.
And it's a brand new day. It's Sunday morning, and we're here at the Friggin' Flagon drinking mild.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is a beautiful looking beer, isn't it? Just a lovely tight bubbles in that white head.
Well, that's the thing about Nitro. It's like if you do that pour, you get that kind of thick head, and this is kind of a lot more akin to the kind of English style of hand pull that you get when you're drinking this kind of beer traditionally on draft, where they get those big handles and they pull it down and pump the beer out by hand out of casks. And it's not quite the same with the Nitro, but it's trying to emulate that feel.
Yeah, it's a good facsimile. Well, this is a beer from Molly Rose. We chatted a little bit about those on day one. So another good friend of ours out of Melbourne. So Nick is the founder of Molly Rose, a brewery that was named after two of his grandmothers. Well, his two grandmothers. Everyone only has two, right?
I think so. It's pretty standard.
So one grandmother called Molly, the other called Rose. So the brewery was started to honour their approach to life. And Molly and Rose maybe like drinking mild. I haven't actually asked Nick about it, but this is definitely the style of beer that people would have enjoyed drinking in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and as much as all of you enthusiastic beer drinkers love mild and keep clamouring for it and asking brewers to brew more.
Relentlessly popular, as we know.
Well, we've actually stopped monitoring the Beer Jack emails because
brew mild. When are you going to get more mild in it? It's just
stock
absolutely
mild.
constant.
Yeah, have a mild festival at the Friggin' Flagon.
Mild Fest 2022 coming up.
Yeah. So surprisingly, not many people make mild, even though it's bloody delicious, and it was once certainly the most popular beer style in Britain. And it's a beer with a working class really, and it's a beer that's got a lower alcohol percentage.
Yeah, so 3.8 on this one.
And it would have suited perfectly when those days when the pub was the public house and you had the lounge bar, and the pub was that real third place that Starbucks tried to create, but there's nothing like an English pub. And I suppose it was when poor people probably lived in shitholes, and it was a bit depressing to go home and not have central heating.
But you don't even have a living room to drink in, and your mates aren't there. But this is kind of typical of a real traditional English style of both brewing and drinking, which is that it's in the same kind of vein as the English bitter, where it's super easy to drink but full of malt character. So it's got this kind of slightly nutty, slightly caramelly, slightly biscuity malt base that kind of is full of flavour without being peaky, without being cloying or sweet. It's just a nice, smooth, easy drinking beer that you can have a proper English pint of, so bigger than pretty much any pint that you get as standard in New Zealand at most places. Yeah. And you can just sit there all afternoon drinking pint after pint because it's sub 4%, but it's not light, sparkly, fizzy stuff, like which is a long time ago. There was a lot of opposition to that in the UK because this is what English beer is. And it gets a bad rap a lot of the time for being warm and flat, but those characteristics of being served slightly above cold temperature and slightly lower carbonation, or with nitro or in hand pull, which just aids that drinkability so much, where you can just sit there and drink this. You're not going to feel bloated, you're not going to feel drunk, you're not going to get lightheaded. You can just comfortably have a social time in the pub with your mates, drinking pints of mild, and it's just a really nice, underrated way to just drink good beer.
This is absolutely gorgeous, and it's kind of hard to drink just half a can of it. It's a beer that is designed to be drunk enthusiastically, and to drink quite a lot of it. And yeah, I guess that doesn't really fit into the modern craft beer culture so much. People are looking for novelty, and if I was looking for any descriptors as to how to talk about what this beer tastes like for anyone that's not drinking it, it's kind of like a slice of brown bread, which doesn't sound very sexy.
Brown bread's nice. Do you like toast? I like toast.
Yeah. It's like the toast of beer. It's not cool maybe. It hasn't got, adjuncts and...
Like, I guess the closer equivalent would probably be that kind of, like, outside of the English frame of reference, but those kind of German dark breads, like that pumpernickel kind of, those kind of really richer dark brown breads. So we're not talking about your pale brown Molenberg. Where you've got some real toasty grain character in there, which is just lovely, and it's a very underappreciated beer style that I hope you guys are enjoying.
I wonder if one is made of rye mild, like a rye bread mild.
To be continued.
Yeah, small girls have copyrighted that. Don't
TM.
Well, cheers everybody. Enjoy your Sunday.
See you tomorrow.
See you on Monday.